Good morning. Welcome back to Expat Insights. I'm your host, Raju Mandhyan. Here at Expat Insights, we take external views of internal successes by foreigners, expats, and immigrants who have made Philippines their home and are doing good in the Philippines, either in business or society. So for the second half of today's show, Friday, we have a gentleman from Hawaii, originally from USA, and he's been in the country for nearly 11 years,
Correct.
10 to 11 years, and he is the president of Quantum Group of Hotels and Resorts, and he's going to talk to us about hospitality in the Philippines, or hospitality Philippines. Let's welcome Mr. John Cole.
Thank you, Raju. Thank you very much for inviting me and having me on your show.
So tell me, what brought you to the Philippines, Mr. Cole?
Well, a long series of events, I suppose. As you stated, I started out in the USA. Was from Michigan, and I learned the hotel business while living in Hawaii. I lived there about 15 years.
Yeah.
Then I went off to the Middle East to work for the Arabian American Oil Company.
That's Aramco?
Aramco.
Yeah.
Helped them set things up with their Guar oil field in the eastern province. So I ran camps there. They were sort of like low-rise hotels.
All right, yeah.
So the largest one I was involved with Aramco, had 10,000 people living in it.
Oh my gosh,
But
these were executives and employees of Aramco?
all different levels of the company, but out where the rigs are, out in the desert. So
Oh,
they
gosh.
were camps.
Yeah.
So they were sort of horizontal hotel type operations.
Like boarding houses.
Exactly. Well,
Army
there are different
barracks.
levels. There are different levels. There's, of course, there's a difference between the executive housing and the staff housing and things like that.
Oh my gosh.
Different foods. So we had Asian food for the Asians that were there.
Oh.
Middle Eastern food. We had Western food for the Westerners.
10,000 people is a whole country.
It seemed like it on a good day.
And you did this single-handedly?
Well, no. There's a whole
Of
team.
course you
there.
had a team,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
were you like the key person, the key?
For the camps, yeah. I
Oh,
was like the manager, the general manager of the camp.
That's a story, John.
So it was.
It's a book,
So
it's not a
we
story.
had to separate them all, and very
And you
interesting.
had
Lots
people
of stories.
from all walks of life, from
We had
every part of the world.
in the largest camp, we had 27 different nationalities, all over the Middle East, Europe, all over Asia, and of course North America.
So if there's anyone in the world who's capable of running a hotel successfully for 500 people, you're it.
Well, it's a different it's a different type of hotel.
I know, but still, you know, it's like being
Yes.
trained in the jungle to play
Exactly.
in the garden.
Endurance,
Yeah.
like basic training
Oh boy.
for
oh
life
boy.
in many ways, but yeah.
Boy.
So it was a very interesting time.
Any good
Great.
memory from those days? Something
Well,
will
we
stand
had
out?
lots of interesting things with security people. You know, in Arabia, you're not supposed to have any alcohol,
Yeah.
but some of our security guards somehow, who were Saudi, I probably shouldn't say this, but
No,
this
they
is
were-
beamed out, but they seemed to have gotten inebriated, and they had these Jeep vehicles, and one of them tangled up the drivetrain of his car with the fencing in an effort to drive away from the camp,
Yeah.
and he basically defenced about 1/2 kilometer of the fence. Another day in the entry area of the camps, the guards were there, and one of them also had a herd of goats, which he had no one to watch them for during a shift. So the booth where the security guard is also had a large number of goats. So little things like that. It was sort of a daily
thing. out there.
that kept you
So
thinking.
are you relieved that you're in the Philippines now? Are you like,
Well,
does this feel like heaven?
Yes, in comparison, of course, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I also spent some time in Sri Lanka, 6 years in Thailand, a year in Vietnam,
Whoa.
before I finally ended up here in
Yeah.
the Philippines.
So this is going to be your home for
This
life?
is my home.
So tell us now about the work you do.
All right.
Tell us about the value, the potential that lies in the Philippines for that industry, for
Right.
hospitality.
Okay, well, we are currently running with Quantum Hotels,
Right.
6 different properties. We've got about 700 rooms.
Yeah.
half the inventory is suite type rooms or condominium hotels,
Yeah.
service departments, and the others are regular hotels.
Yeah.
The opportunity here is what I'm focusing on, what the company is focusing on, is independently owned hotels.
Right.
The smaller hotels, the mid-range hotels, the 3-star hotels, the 4-star hotels. The large branded hotel companies have primarily captured the high end of the market.
Right.
But there's many, many hotel owners and obviously many hotel guests that still require, that are a little more budget conscious, that are looking for a better value for money paid. And that's where Quantum comes in. We focus on the mid-range to provide good services for the guests, good returns for the owners.
So that's the segment you're in.
Yes.
Yeah, and you want to stay there. You mentioned the big brands, they've captured the higher market, no?
The Hyatts, the Hiltons, the Marriotts.
Is it like, what do you call, satiated? Is it like, have they taken on the whole market? Or there's a lot of playing space?
Oh, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, the reason we're not doing high-end is because there's no playing space there.
Oh, you don't want to compete against them, but
there's no way
it's a growing market too, isn't it?
Well, yeah, there's the last few years, a lot of the big brands have come into the Philippines.
The Marriott,
it's a bit of a late comer in terms of a lot of the international brands, but they're all pretty much here now, which is a good thing. I mean, that raises the profile of the country. It raises the media attention to the country, of course, through their marketing arms, their advertising, etc. But then in the Philippines, there is a large number of independently owned hotels, the mid-range hotels, that need the same types of services on a smaller scale.
Right, right.
So they need training manuals, training, standard operating procedures.
Six Sigma.
Yes, exactly.
Lean
exactly.
And green.
Yes, our previous guest, Scott, sort of outlined part of what we do, which is also training.
Yeah.
We have a large training staff in our company that goes around to the hotels we're involved with and continually trains and upgrades skills. It's something that never stops. As Scott was saying, human asset needs to be constantly nurtured. Nurtured, and yes. So
I did go to one of your places, One Pacific Place, 2 weeks ago. I thought it was nice. I don't know how much it cost me because it was an event, but I thought it was pretty nice and comfortable for businessmen to come in, and I didn't see the rooms be used as a function place. So my question to you, John, is the industry, the hospitality industry is tied in. It really is dependent on tourism.
Yes.
Yeah? And the Department of Foreign Affairs, the Department of Tourism, pushing that angle. What are your thoughts about that? How do you suppose the country can increase the number of tourists coming in?
Well, I think, the Department of Tourism is investing a great deal of funds right now in marketing the Philippines, especially with their new campaign. But having said that, to put it in perspective, we're still we've got a long ways to go. In that, right now the Philippines should have about 5 million tourists this year. But when you compare that to our neighbors, that's still a lesser number.
Yeah, we were like about 4 something.
Well, yeah, Vietnam has 7 or 8 million. Thailand has 25 million.
Yeah, I know.
Malaysia has 30.
Yeah.
So we have some catching up to do, but I think we're in a position to do that. In terms of one of the reasons the brands are coming in is there's a lot of new hotel construction going on. So it's cost efficient to come into the Philippines right now.
I was in, I went through Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, and Hong Kong. No? And in Thailand, yes, I sensed that there were so many tourists on the streets. And I was thinking, wait, people here don't speak English. I can't read the signs. And yes, there are beaches. Yes, the food was good. Yes, the people are hospitable too. But what drew them in? What was the strategy that Thailand implemented that brought in so many tourists?
Well, I think having worked there myself for a number of years, it all goes back to Discover Thailand campaign. I believe it was in 1989, where the government merged with the hotel industry and started out the big
PPP.
Marketing campaigns. So that's been going on for what, 20 years, yeah.
Yeah, 26 years.
So we're yes, the Department of Tourism in the Philippines is doing the same thing now, but we're behind the curve in that
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah.
But having said that, I'm sure we will catch up because obviously there are a lot of tourists available to travel.
Yeah.
As the Asian market grows, we have more and more that are able to have the funds to travel that are emerging into the middle class, which is where the mid-range hotels come in. So we have the product being developed now to increase our numbers. On the other side, we need to work, the Philippines needs to improve, obviously, on the infrastructure. Airports, roads, etc. That's the one last missing link, I believe.
The thing somebody else mentioned was that it's not the quality of service we provide or not the number of venues to go to in the Philippines. There are so many places to go to, but it's the number of planes coming in.
Yes.
It's the number of planes flying through and landing. So that kind of gave an edge to Thailand and
Yes.
Malaysia. Is that true?
That is true because those
Is that a big major factor?
it helps them. I would say yes, it is. It's a benefit help because they're a hub.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of changeover from one destination to another. So obviously the tourist associations and the industry in Malaysia or Thailand pick up on that and convince guests to stay over for a couple of nights in KL or Bangkok or take a trip to Pattaya or Phuket in Thailand to, you know, so it's en route. Now, one of the disadvantages is that we're sort of on the end of the chain.
I know we kind of slightly moved away,
Yeah,
like
we're
slightly out of the way.
Yeah, but that's changing too with more airlines coming in.
Yeah.
Philippine Airlines has expanded their flights. But also, there's also the domestic
Infrastructure.
component. No, the airlines. In watching international travel and watching domestic travel, the domestic travel has gone up exponentially.
In the Philippines?
Yes, within the Philippines.
Also, domestic
Number of
travel has
flights,
gone
yes.
up. So between the little airlines, Cebu,
Right, all of the discount flights have enabled many people, many more people to travel within the Philippines. So that's growing much more faster than the international arrivals. Yeah, so it's a plus, yes.
Right. So tell us now about your best experience in this country. I mean, you have chosen to stay here, and so has your group, no?
Yes.
What has been your best experience, and how do you foresee the future for yourself, for Quantum?
Well, my best experience is working with the Filipinos. And I say that not because I'm sitting in Manila.
I want an example.
Well, let me just say that in Hawaii, I had Filipino staff in the hotels there. With Aramco, I had a lot of Filipino staff.
Yeah.
In Thailand, they were Thai staff, but all the entertainers were Filipino. So basically, everywhere I worked, there have been Filipinos.
So you were thinking, why don't I go to the source?
So I might as well go to the source and focus on that.
So what has been the more fun for you since you got here? I
Fun
mean,
in the Philippines?
No, what has been that one thing that stood out in your memory? If you were to go home to tell your grandchild a story, back in the year 2004, whatever, what would you share?
Wow.
Oh, you don't have a grandchild?
I don't have a specific thing. I just think I enjoy living here. My family's here. I like the Philippines a great deal. I don't have any specific story to come up with after my Middle Eastern stories.
Okay, so what's the future for Quantum? What are the plans for growth?
What we're looking at now, we've developed a full-blown online marketing and reservation system. So we've got a whole team now devoted to online marketing and reservation services. That's internationally online marketing and reservations. Now, we do that obviously for all of our own hotels.
Yeah.
But we're just starting now to sign up hotels on sales and marketing agreements, where we provide independent hotels a reservation system, all the online marketing, search engine optimization for all of the geeks out there that want a little buzzword, but all of the marketing online to draw attention, to raise the hotel brand name, and also drive business through the hotel. And when it comes to independent hotels, I think that's what most owners are looking for, to expand their market reach, which is what, of course,
Yeah,
the
small
big brands
ones out.
do.
There are some really good ones, the boutique hotels,
Exactly.
family-owned hotels out in the provinces are pretty good. So you're kind of becoming an agent, a little cooperative for them online.
A mini brand, a mini operator, because now that we have all of the marketing tools, then a hotel owner can come to us and say, I need direct sales, people pressing the flesh, I need online sales, I need reservations, I need management, I need training, and we can provide any and all of those things. So I think we're looking at a very good future for the company. I'm
So
quite
how much does a resident in your venue save? What are the things that he can look forward to in terms of comfort, facilities, and of course savings too at the same time?
Well, obviously, it's a good budgetary strategy that we're using, mid-range, for all the middle managers and the corporate clientele and for the leisure travelers. But we provide a high quality of service for money paid. So you can come into a Quantum hotel and you can get the service of a higher branded, higher rated hotel at a Quantum hotel without spending the same amount of money. Service is there.
Like 50% compared to
Yes, something.
50?
Yes,
50?
yes.
So like about $75 a night, I'm good?
Yes, right in around there.
Wow, way.
Some around there. On a good day, maybe a little less.
Yeah.
During peak season, maybe a little bit more. But yes, good value.
And you have 6 venues or more than 6?
Six right now.
Yeah.
We've got 5 in Manila and 1 in Clark. We're just signing up 1 in Subic in the next week or so.
You have a resort too, some place like a
Yeah,
big-
the Stotzenberg Hotel and Casino in Clark, Pampanga.
how much is that?
As in terms of...
In terms of spending a weekend there?
Oh, well, it's in the $70 range to
No
spend
kidding.
the night. It's got a casino, large swimming pool, huge
Yeah.
facilities.
And the names?
Stotzenberg.
That sounds German.
Well, it's a German name, but it was an American admiral.
And
It's named after Admiral Stotzenberg.
Okay.
I didn't name it, but that's who it's named after.
All right, John, it's been a pleasure having you on Expat Insights. Thank you for your
Thank
insights on the hospitality industry of Philippines. Is there anything you want to tell your customers, your partners, your associates? Is there something you still want to do, say to me, or share with Expat Insights?
Sure. Well, I think now is a good time for those outside the Philippines to consider coming into the Philippines for investment. It's a very good time right now. Entry costs are low. The service
all those
is there.
people flying to Thailand and
Exactly.
Indonesia.
It's time to
Reroute.
change.
Yeah.
Change. Exactly.
Beaches
So
and
this
all.
is the time to find a new destination.
And they find you www.quantum.
www.quantumsuites.com or quantumhotels.com.
All right, John. Pleasure having you on
Thank you,
Expat
Raju.
Insights, and may your journey and life and the improvement of the hospitality industry, using Six Sigma, of course, improve day by day. God bless.
Thank you.
All right. So that was John Cole from Quantum Hotels, and I'm your host, Raju Mandhyan. I hope you enjoyed the show. Next week on Expat Insights, we will have a gentleman called James Lafferty and a gentleman called Vince Reyes, and we'll be talking about leadership in marketing. And have a great weekend, and keep watching Expat Insights every weekend. Good night and mabuhay.